Let's start today's episode.
Welcome back, Period Besties. Today we are going to be talking about bloating. This is something that I think most of us have dealt with, at least on and off over the years. It's certainly something that a lot of us deal with right before we get our period. So maybe that like week before, you're getting a lot of extra bloating, definitely in that deep luteal phase, just those couple days before. So bloating is something that happens to most of us, to all of us. I don't know about you, listeners, but I have pants for non-bloating days and bloating days. If you're like us, today we're going to talk about bloating and some of our favorite ways to reduce that. I'm not going to say eliminate because sometimes it is just how the hormones shift and change in your body, and a little bit of bloating is not really outside of the realm of normal, but we certainly can reduce it. So I'm going to go with reduce the bloating today.
I like that because it's definitely one of those challenges when you're, well, for me anyways, when I'm trying to figure out what the F I'm gonna wear. Because some days I put on an outfit and I feel great in it. And the second phase of my cycle comes, I put on the same exact outfit and I'm like, ooh, that just doesn't fit the same. And it's challenging. It's challenging for me in general to find something that I like to wear. So it's even more challenging when I'm bloated. And I've noticed in perimenopause, because I am taking progesterone in the second phase, I am feeling more bloated. I'm retaining more water and it's going right to that belly. Like, I love that high-waisted jeans are in, like, please never go away. It feels great. But even with that, it really is hard sometimes. And it's not even the way that it looks, it's just the way that I feel. Like, I always feel more bloated than I actually am.
Yeah.
I don't know what that dysmorphia is with bloat, but it really, because I can like feel it and can like lift my belly. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I like don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah, no, I'm the queen of the waistless dress for that phase. Like, I'm gonna start embracing my caftan muumuu era here because I'm like, these are the best things ever for this phase. So, I guess tip number one is just be comfortable with some loose fit, relaxed, something, find your style. I mean, I love a good bright caftan, but that's not for everybody.
My grandma, my grandma Alice wore a muumuu and she was so tiny. She wasn't even 5 feet and she wore tiny little heels every day with her muumuu and red lipstick and she looked fabulous. So I say embrace it, girl.
I know, right? I'm in. Like I'm already working on my post-menopause era look. But realistically, something that I do every day to help reduce bloating is have something fermented. A little yogurt, a little sauerkraut, which by the way is cheap and easy to make at home if you don't want to pay for it. Something a little fermented. Those are the two that I always have in the fridge. There's always kimchi too in the back of the fridge if I want a little spice with my like eggs or something in the morning. But yeah, I mean, something a little fermented can really help reduce the bloat, but it is something that you can't just ferment bomb your gut when you're feeling bloated because that will make the bloating worse. So it will reduce the bloating. It is something that you have to have a little bit of every day. So it's not a main course, it's just a condiment that goes along with the rest of your meal. But it is one of the first things the first thing I do in the morning is take my thyroid pill, drink my water. And then a half an hour later or an hour later, I make everyone food and everyone gets a scoop of yogurt. The cat, because she's got dandruff, and the dog, because he was throwing up a lot when we first got him and he loves the yogurt. So everyone just gets a little scoop. The other dog and the other cat don't necessarily need it, but they're going to eat it anyway. So everyone gets a little scoop of yogurt, including me. And then make breakfast, right? So every day I'm starting with a little bit of a healthy fat. We do goat milk yogurt because it's easier on my digestive system, which I guess tip number two is a lot of time cow dairy can increase your bloating. So if you are a yogurt fan, maybe get a goat yogurt or something to help reduce that. But a little bit of yogurt in the first thing every morning, and then usually have a little sauerkraut with lunch or with dinner, or something a little extra, or a little kimchi, something. But again, a condiment, right? A couple of scoops. And sometimes I just have a couple of scoops of sauerkraut while I'm cooking. So it doesn't end up even being a condiment. I just have a couple scoops while I'm cooking. So,
I love sauerkraut with eggs. So,
oh,
so
yes.
yummy. It brings out
Yeah.
such good flavor.
Yeah.
And even the second tip you said, the goat milk, like even just switching to goat cheese, like the fetas, the goat cheese in general
Yeah. Or
is,
sheep.
or sheep, yeah.
Yeah.
And or from New Zealand or Ireland, they have different types of casein protein. So it's a little better. We drink A2 milk, seems to sit a little bit better.
Yeah.
But third tip, and this might sound counterproductive, but stay hydrated. Making
Yes.
sure you're drinking enough water can actually help reduce bloat. I know as we both hold up our water to show you,
Oh my God.
but
Such a
that's
cute mug.
also really important. What?
That's such a cute mug.
Oh my God. I love it. I bought it for myself for my birthday.
Nice. This was from the Lost and Found at the Pilates studio I taught at. No one claimed it for like 3 months, so I took it home.
I love those mugs. I love those water bottles. Yeah. I just feel like if I'm going to work all day, I need a happy mug.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
drink
Yeah,
heavy coffee.
drinking water. I mean, I know it does feel counterintuitive because you're like, oh my God, I'm bloated. I'm holding on to all this water, but you really do need to. And, throw a little lemon in there, a little coconut water. I mean, even a little mint tea. Something I like to do if I'm feeling bloated is a little mint tea, fennel tea. There's actually a number that are good for bloating. So, you could even just Google like teas good for bloating and pick out things that you like because there's a lot of different ones that actually do help reduce bloating. Mint and fennel are two of my favorites. And sometimes I'll brew a pot of mint tea and then throughout the day, I'll just do it like half and half with my water. So if it's cold outside, I'll drink it hot, hot. But if it's summer, I will brew it and then just let it sit there and just add it kind of 50-50 to my water just so that I'm still hydrating, but I'm also getting that mint to help, or fennel in the winter, so it's a little bit more warming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
love
a lot
spa
of good ones.
water, like the cucumber
Yeah.
and the mint.
Yes.
And I drink hot water all year.
Yeah.
My hubby thinks I'm a little crazy, but I love hot water. My boys have been trained to, before they drink out of my water bottle, to ask, like, is this hot water? Is this room temperature water? But I find that really helps with me with bloating and just digestion in general, like
Yes.
warm water.
Iced drinks are terrible for your bloating, for your digestion. They slow your digestion, which is going to increase your bloating. So, iced drinks are terrible if you're dealing with bloating. Not to say that I don't have some ice cold drinks in the summer on a really hot day, but usually when I'm moving, so, like if I'm hiking the dogs or I'm out in the garden. But yeah, it's just not great for your digestion at any point. And I do the same way. I always have tea, even in the hot days of summer. And in fact, when I was in Egypt, I was there for a month with a group of Bedouins. It was hot mint tea with a bit of honey in it every day. That was just all day. What I mean, it was 100 and some odd, like 114 degrees or something when we were there. It was hot, and we drank hot mint tea with a little sugar or honey or whatever in it all day. Played a lot of backgammon. But like that's where I really learned that actually, if you want to cool down, a hot mint is better. So I was young. It was amazing. I learned a ton. And to this day, in the summer, I get cravings for like a hot mint tea with a little sweetness in it. Now I get CBD honey from my CBD people. So
That's amazing. Love that. I would say the other tip to think about is
what if your menstrual cycle was your map for living in flow? That means living easily, living simply, living deliciously, living decadently, living patriarchy free. The revolution will be bloody. The greatest trick the patriarchy ever pulled was separating women from their cycles. It pitted us against each other and ourselves, turning one of our greatest power sources into something gross and unclean, a curse to be ashamed of. As a result, we've forgotten that our energy levels naturally wax and wane each month. Instead, we live our lives constantly pushing, striving, and doing, ending up burnt out and disempowered, and 90% of us will have a hormonal imbalance. This book proposes a revolutionary alternative, one of honoring your natural cycle and planning your life and business and flow with it. As you journey through these pages, you'll learn how to live, eat, and work in a beautiful alignment with your individual flow. It's time to reconnect with the power in your period. Are you ready to join the revolution? Pick up your copy of The Revolution Will Be Bloody today.
Moving after eating, I know that so many of us, myself sometimes included, I'll eat while I'm working, but really trying to step away from the desk and eating at the table or the somewhere away from the computer, chewing your food. We've talked about this a lot, but like really chewing your food, putting your fork down, but just moving after eating helps overall with just bloating in general, but especially when you're feeling, for me, I feel like that heaviness in the second phase of my cycle and just going for a walk, taking the dog for a walk, touching grass, getting some fresh air and
Yeah.
moving can really help me just feel not as like heavy and lethargic. Like I might still feel that bloating sensation, but it mentally just helps me feel a little bit better. And it does help with digestion too. So
Yeah.
just moving your body, you don't have to be intense about it. Just go for a 5-10 minute walk. We all need a little break during the day anyway. So for all of you listening during the workday on your headphones, this is permission to get up, go for a little bit of walk. I've always done that in my workday, and especially after eating and or really trying not to eat later in the day, because when you eat and then you're sleeping on it all day, it can really mess up your digestion in the morning, and you might even just feel more bloated the next day too.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I usually just do house chores, blessed to be working from home. But I do. I sit down to eat lunch, dinner, whatever. And then afterwards, I get up and I harvest rainwater, go piddle around in the greenhouse, just walk around and check out the wildflowers growing in, because we don't mow or anything. We just have a random wild forest yard. Load and unload the dishwasher, load and unload the laundry, something. There's, oh, pick up fur around the house that's gathered in the corners. But there's a lot of things that I definitely do around the house to for 10 minutes. And it's one of my little tasks on my Finch self-care app is to walk after eating, and I have it set to 3 times a day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I get to check off. It satisfies that I get a little dopamine hit along with it. So I have it set
You're
for
doing
3 times
great.
a day.
Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't want a little dopamine to go along with their stroll?
Oh, I love that. Oh, castor oil. We talked about this last time, but that really, really helps with bloating. And something that I found on my full script account was a castor oil roller. And I'm going to start traveling with that. So it's really challenging to travel with castor oil because you don't want it to leak anywhere. But I'm going to try this roller. I ordered it and I'm going to bring that with me when I'm traveling. So a lot of people just talk to us constantly about how bloated they feel when traveling, constipated when traveling. So thank goodness, I'm going to knock on wood, I don't have that problem, but I'm still going to take it with me to help because I have to go to New York a bunch of times for work in the next few weeks. And I'm like, this is going to help just digest my food better. I'm going to be in the second phase of my cycle for one of those trips and just really help with that castor oil. But
Yeah.
be sure to listen to the episode we did record on this last week. It's a really good thing to do daily. And also, if you have breast tenderness, because bloating, breast tenderness usually comes with a bloat. And I've been doing it every single day for a long time now. And I have zero breast tenderness, even right before my period. Like
Nice.
it's amazing.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing about bloating. It can affect other things, that digestive system, right? Just really downstream, everything gets affected. And when you are in that place of bloating, especially if you have a significant bloating or regular bloating, taking those steps that are both immediate, like some mint tea or walking, that kind of thing, doing a couple of like twists in the old yoga land, that kind of stuff is helpful. But then there's also the daily long term castor oil, eating your ferments, making sure you're working on your gut health, having some bone broth, those kinds of things that are just little things every day that you can do that will help reduce your bloating overall. And then those little bits and pieces that really help to, in the moment, help give you some relief and relaxation. And I am definitely one of the people who also, in the second phase of my cycle, as I get closer, I keep Gas X on me because sometimes it's like I just need like I'm already uncomfortable. I'm about to eat a meal. I don't want to be more uncomfortable. So it's not something you want to use regularly, but I certainly do have it around for tougher days. I have it around in case I accidentally get glutened.
Mm.
There's a couple things that you keep around if you have a gluten intolerance or celiac or whatever, and you accidentally gas X, charcoal, tequila, surprisingly, can help if you have a gluten thing. I don't really drink anymore, so it's like, those are all things that you see most people with gluten issues keeping around, and sometimes I use those even if I've not been glutened, but just, if it's a bad round of bloating for whatever reason. And then if you are feeling bloated, skip the beans at dinner, skip the cruciferous vegetables like the broccolis and the kales and stuff. They can increase bloating. So if you are in that bloating place, choose foods that are less likely to increase it and choose foods, soup, something easy, simple, some chicken and brown rice, and maybe skip raw foods. Those can also increase bloating. So cooked foods, easy to digest foods, that kind of thing. But yeah, if you are in the throes of dealing with bloating, skip those beans, those legumes, those cruciferous veggies, and lean more towards soups and easy to digest stuff. Pureed, like butternut squash soup, something pureed is really easy to digest. Something cooked and those easier, gentler veggies.
Yeah, and something else too, digestive bitters can also be really helpful to take 30 minutes before you eat if you've been having serious digestive bloating issues as well. So all of these things are just simple, hopefully really easy things that you can just start adding in, and all of us react and respond differently. So just try and see what works the best for you and let us know how you're feeling. We all experience bloat. So don't be embarrassed about it. I feel like sometimes we're like trying to always hide our Buddha belly, but we're all bloated at some point in our cycle, at some point in our lives. So let's embrace it and talk about it and let us know what helped you, and or if we didn't share something that you've been doing that's been really working, let us know. And thank you all so much for joining us. Cheers to less bloating, but also feeling empowered with our boat at the same time. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
A big shout out and thank you to our sponsors for today's episode, Period Coaching School and Katie Bresek Wellness.
Thanks to you, our favorite bestie, for listening to the Period Besties Podcast, where no topic is TMI. And of course, share this episode with your besties.
Remember to leave us a 5-star review, nothing less than the best for us besties, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram at Stasha Washburn and at Katie Bresek, or email us at periodbestiespodcast@gmail.com.
Check out more about us at katiebresek.com and periodcoachingschool.com. And of course, check the show notes for free goodies and extras that support this episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye for now, besties.